Welcome in, everyone. Donovan and Dino, presented by Master Pizza on a Tuesday night. I'm Dave DeNatale. That's Sonny Crockett. No, I'm kidding. That is Nick Camino. I have waited like months to do a show with you.
Well, I know. This is fun.
This is great.
I'm always watching you and Jimmy, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, all the different places that we have at WKYC.com. But to be able to be on the show now is pretty cool. I had thought, though, when I was going to be here, I thought there'd be a bunch of Master Pizza out here that we would be eating.
You're not the only one.
I love Master Pizza. My wife and I had a house salad, the great dressing. We do, they have a pizza, the Cleveland cheesesteak. I know I'm Italian. I should be doing the sausage pepperoni. The Cleveland cheesesteak, look out.
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the companion
little different
sub to go or whatever, to go sandwich to go with the pizza. Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
That's good. No, they do a Cleveland cheesesteak pizza.
Oh, it's the cheesesteak pizza.
Yes.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can find out more about Master Pizza. Just use your smartphone. Use one of these and download the Master Pizza app. You can earn pizza points every time you order, and you start getting some great stuff. It's all from Master Pizza. Taste above all. Give our guy, guys a call, and they'll take good care of you. Mike LaMarca and the great people at Master Pizza. Okay.
So no pizza tonight.
No pizza tonight. No pizza.
He hooked me on. He said you were going to come on the show. I thought we were getting pizza.
Well, LaMarca has been all over the world. Like he was in a pizza contest out in Italy, I think he did really well. I'm sure he did really well. But I haven't had a chance to talk to him since he's been back yet. So I've been trying to. Oh yeah, you talk about he's been everywhere. Like Johnny Cash's song, he's been everywhere, man. That's Mike LaMarca.
All right, I'm excited. We got plenty to talk about.
We got plenty to talk about. At this point, at 8:30, as we can hear the debate going on behind us down at Otterbein, Trent Williams is still a member of the Washington Redskins.
As of right now.
Yeah. I guess, Nick, here's the thing. As the Browns are 2-4 now in this bye week, and obviously the rumors are creeping up because the Browns need to shore up this offensive line if they're going to go forward and have the kind of season I think that we'd all hoped they were going to have. But the problem, and we'll see if this actually comes to fruition or not. The last time the last time we had one of these trade rumor things was Jimmy and I spent 15 minutes talking about why Odell Beckham would be a good fit for the Browns, and literally it happened during the show.
I remember that. I remember watching that.
So,
that was fantastic.
Don't be surprised if all of a sudden Camino and I just sit there and say something.
He's got Twitter and everything up here.
But the fact Trent Williams he doesn't necessarily fit with what John Dorsey likes in terms of going out and getting players because he's 31. Usually, Dorsey's a guy who likes the guys who are just getting their first big contract, the 25 to 30-year-old guys. So Williams seems like he's maybe a bit out of range.
But here's the thing, and I don't know if they're going to do the Williams thing. Depending on where you look, it sounds like it might not happen. So we'll see what happens. Saying that, Dino, beggars can't be choosers. I mean, they've got a really big problem on that offensive line, and it's amazing to me how tremendous Chubb has been able to run and been able to to be such a weapon, because I think the offensive line has struggled. Baker Mayfield has struggled because of that offensive line, and my worry about the O-line is that that's not something that you can fix midway through a year unless you were to do something like this. You don't have offensive linemen just hanging out at the donut shop getting ready to go join a team. That's something hard to get. I do think if you need a running back, you can go get one.
Yes.
If you need a wideout, you can probably go get one.
Yeah.
People would say they're a dime a dozen.
Right.
A dozen. You can go get those guys. Quality offensive linemen like this,
especially tackles,
they don't grow on trees. I mean, this is a big time get, and it would be something, despite his age, which I think you're spot on with. It would make sense because they're trading guys. We saw them today make a trade. They're getting rid of guys on that O-line. They need guys that can be there to protect and open up run gaps for Nick Chubb. And right now, his situation, Williams in Washington, is he hasn't been happy.
Right.
Wants the new contract. He's been sitting out. I think he was upset with the medical team and things like that. So to me, it seems like the perfect fit. But how much would you have to give up?
That's the thing. Yeah, I saw.
Do you get my point there, though?
I do.
I feel like the O-line isn't something you can fix in Week 8.
No,
that's something that needed to be fixed in Week 1 in training camp.
And this happens on the same day that the Browns decided to part ways, cut bait with Austin Corbett.
And that ends up being a disaster.
That ends up being a disaster. I mean,
second-round guy.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, he was the 33rd pick. So you feel like it was almost like a first-rounder. 33rd pick overall in the 2018 draft, gone. And didn't even make it 2 full seasons here.
We haven't really said that about Dorsey, that he swung and missed on guys.
Right.
I think it's safe to say that he swung and missed on Austin Corbett, who, as you said, basically was a first-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, that was a guy that all last year, I can remember, as J.C. Treader, he was playing on one leg for week in and week out in this patchwork offensive line that they had. It's like sitting there like, wait a minute.
Hello?
What about, where's Austin? Yeah, hello, where's Austin Corbett? And I remember Jimmy would say, well, they're saying, well, they don't want to move it. They'd have to, if they put him at center, then, he's not ready to be a center. They'd be a guard. And then in this, okay, well, fine. The Browns traded
What's the difference between a center and a guard? I've always wondered that. The guard and the I mean, just block.
Just block. I mean,
block.
the center, you have to call out the blocking assignments, and you do have to hike the football. Yeah, I get it.
Come on.
Jeff wonders, here's a great question. Do you think John Dorsey is kicking himself because he missed out on getting Laramie Tunsil? Obviously, hindsight being 20/20, as Jeff points out, and I get it. But
well, here's the thing. I think that the line needed to be addressed during training camp, before training camp. Those things needed to be done. Yeah. When it comes to the O-line, even the D-line has been a strength. But I think those, when you're in the trenches, those are positions that needed to be addressed early. Mm-hmm. And right now, that's why you're seeing trade rumors and trades and things happening, because they're at the bye week. They're 2-4, and they're not happy with where they're at.
And it's hard for fans, and I get this, and I hear it. Yesterday when we were doing After Further Review, I got a lot of talk about this. Now everybody, because the Browns are 2-4, and I think we all thought that they might be. I remember thinking if they were 3-3 at this point, I think I'd be happy. And this was back before the year started.
I had said if they could survive, not to cut you off, but I thought if they could survive the first half of the season, go 4-4, the rest of the way was supposed to be smooth sailing. I mean, twice with the Bengals, twice with the Steelers. You play the Dolphins on the back end. I thought that as long as you could just get through the first part of the season, they'd be okay. Mm-hmm. Here's my worry now. You're 2-4, you're at the bye. You come out of the bye. If you lose to New England, you're 2-5.
Right.
All of a sudden, you got to go to Denver. They're playing way better than they were at the beginning of the year, and they lost some close games at the beginning of the year. That's a pretty good football team. So now, and that's never an easy place to play.
No.
All of a sudden, if you're 2-6, Dino.
Yeah.
Now I'm really concerned, because you're going to come home and you're going to play Buffalo, who's played well. Then we saw the Steelers win on Monday Night Football. Mm-hmm. These games that we thought, okay, these are automatic wins, or they're going to win this, this, and this. When you're 2-6, that's when I start to worry about storylines and the coach and the players. And are they responding? So you just hope that they can come out and start winning football games sooner rather than later, because these things have the potential to snowball.
Yeah, I mean, forget about playoffs for a second. I feel like Jim Mora. Playoffs, but if you're 2-5 or 2-6, I mean, now you've got to go on like a 4-game winning. You got to start going on winning streaks and big ones to have any shot to even get back to 500.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 2-6,
you've
got to win 4 straight NFL games. That's difficult.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's hard to do. I mean, there's only 2 unbeaten teams in the NFL right now, New England and San Francisco.
Right.
So, I mean, that is not easy to do. So you just don't want it to snowball, and I don't know that they're going to go out and beat New England. And I think the Denver game will be very difficult. So if all of a sudden you're 2-6, I think you got a big-time headache.
Right. I mean, and then I remember Chris Palmer once referred to it, when he had his 2 kind of lost years at the start of the expansion era. He used to call it, or it feels like the season has become a runaway train. And that's what happens.
That can happen.
Yeah, that's what happens.
We've seen that happen.
Yeah. Too many times.
Poor Chris Palmer. He was hired to be fired pretty much. I mean,
you talk about a guy set up to fail. That was poor Chris Palmer.
Yeah.
But I guess the idea, Nick, is that now, I mean, nationally, I mean, you got a lot of people that are loving the fact that the Browns are struggling within the league, but also pundits around the league. I mean, I heard, Mark Schlereth, who I didn't realize he had a bone to pick against the Browns. He went on Dan Patrick's show yesterday and just was like, I'm loving it that the Browns are struggling. Wow. And I'm sitting there going,
interesting.
Man, did Baker really rub this many people the wrong way, or OBJ rub this many people the wrong way? I don't know, but you're seeing the result of that. People can sit right now and go, because you're struggling.
And in our society, wherever we are, people love to watch a car crash. People want to see a train wreck, and whether we like it or not, that's what it is. And right now, a 2-4 start, it's kind of been somewhat of a train wreck. So they They got to get this ship righted in the right direction. If they can do that sooner than later, I think they still have a chance. But again, those losses snowball. You're in trouble, Dino.
Yeah. Isaac says if the Browns can't beat Denver, they deserve to miss the playoffs.
Well, that was my only thought on Denver. I know there were, I think, are they 1-4 or 2-4?
Something like that.
They had some close losses.
Yeah.
They've had some injuries. I just think going to Denver,
it's still tough.
That's still tough. Even when you beat them last year,
right.
it's just a tough place to play.
Right.
And even though offensively they've had some struggles with Flacco, my whole thought was, okay, they got Vic Fangio. He's a big defensive guy. And that defense has been tough the
Even
last
though
few years.
Chubb is hurt, they still have Von Miller.
Bingo.
I mean,
and they run, who's the running back? Lindley. I mean, they run the ball very well.
Yeah.
I just say, I mean, I think the Browns would be favored in that game. I think they should win that game. I'm just saying, going there would not be easy.
Right.
That's all.
Especially if you're on the heels of another loss, and that would be
that's true.
What 3 losses in a row?
Right.
If they
that
don't
would be
beat
the
New
worry.
England. Yeah.
You got the thin air and all that. That's always
it's always tough.
It's always crazy.
What's your sense watching Baker Mayfield play? The turnovers are up. I mean, they've and maybe the fact that they were up last year, but we didn't notice as much because he was putting up big numbers against, not just against the Bengals, but also against like the Falcons and Panthers.
Yeah.
I don't want to undercut what he did because he was special, and I do think he can be a special quarterback. What's your sense, though, when you watch him this year?
What I think is happening, and we've seen this in professional sports. You see it in baseball. You see it in the NBA to some extent too. There is film on guys, and there is an adjustment process. And what he is trying to do now, there have been adjustments made to the type of player Baker Mayfield is. What he needs to do now, and this is the process that he's going through probably with the quarterback's coach and with Freddie Kitchens and the O coordinator, is he needs to readjust.
Right.
And I think what is happening is, you could talk about sophomore slumps, and guys like Matt Ryan and Drew Brees, those guys did have a worse year too than they did year one in the league. That's fact. So I think what can happen sometimes is teams adjust to you, and how you readjust and how quickly you readjust is the type of player you can go on to become. And right now, I just don't think he's adjusting to that. And I think we're seeing him maybe try to force the ball now to OBJ a little bit too much, which was some of my fear because we started talking about lack of touches for guys. The scary part is, is that one of the most successful parts of this team has been running the football.
Yeah.
And you would think normally that running the football would open up the pass.
That's
the worry for me.
So
they're running the football,
yeah.
and it's not opening up the pass. So, some concern about Baker. To answer your question, I just think it's a quarterback in his second year that's trying to readjust to adjustments that have been made, and right now he's not adjusting.
Yeah. Adam
Agree?
wonders. I do
Right?
agree.
I mean,
I do agree. I'll bring up Jeremy's point in a second. Adam wonders what other moves could be made, possibly, if any, far between now and we still have a little ways to the deadline.
I mean, what do you go get? I mean,
Right.
that's.
What
I
do you-
just I know
yeah.
who's available of any sort of. Unless they're talking about trades,
Right.
and you're going to have to give up something to get something.
Right.
But my worry, we saw Jalen Ramsey officially dealt tonight. He went to the Rams.
The Rams, yeah. Busy day for the LA.
Marcus Peters, right? He went to the Ravens. So I think that if you're going to, what are you going to get of serious quality unless you're giving up something? So if they're asking about free agent guys, this is why we're talking about trades, because I just don't know what's out there right now that could help a contending football team, if that's what the Browns are.
I mean, if you sit there and you go, okay, what do the Browns need? I mean, they need offensive line, but I'm with you. Other than Trent Williams, I just don't know of anybody you're going to be able to go out and get right now, because offensive tackles are like quarterbacks. And
well, like you said, we're not talking about just a guard or a center. You're talking about a tackle.
You're talking about a tackle.
And it's a premium position in the NFL now.
Yeah, nobody wants to give those up. Jeremy says, I don't know how so many people can blame Baker for all of his 11 interceptions. He goes, seems to me, a bunch of them. I think Jeremy says 7 of the 11 were catchable by receivers.
Well, here's the thing, Jeremy. He leads the league in picks, so it's going to be mentioned.
Yeah.
But anybody that's watched the Browns knows, okay, one of those was in Callaway's hands. It popped out. We've seen those things happen.
Hilliard's got to catch the pass that was thrown to him.
None of us that watch the Browns closely or consider ourselves Browns fans or whatever it might be, we're not saying that those are Baker's fault. But the fact of the matter is he leads the NFL in interceptions.
And his completion percentage, his accuracy's down.
That's true. The quarterback rating's been down.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has been down. So, but my worry there, Dino, is that they've been able to run the football well. So, why is he not having success? That's I know he liked the tight end. The tight end got hurt in a Njoku, but he's been going to Ricky Seals-Jones.
That seems to be working.
I think Baker likes the tight end.
I do too.
And he's got a lot of star wideouts, though. So.
Somebody at some point is going to have to explain to me the Rashard Higgins thing and why he says he could have played in San Francisco.
Certainly, is he in the doghouse? I don't know.
Right. Now, Freddie says there's no doghouse, but he says, this is Higgins, he could have played in San Francisco. He was active on Sunday against Seattle.
Yeah, that's right.
So he dressed, but
he didn't play.
He didn't play. And I'm sitting there going, and Freddie said, well, yesterday, the situation, we went with lots of 3 wides and a tight end, and they went with Callaway as the 3rd wide instead of Higgins. Okay, but Higgins and Mayfield established some real cohesion last year. We saw that in the preseason, and I think even in week 1 and that initial drive against the Titans. I just think sometimes you maybe you're overthinking it a little bit because, Callaway with that speed and his athleticism, it's important, and I don't want to discount what he can do, but I know what Higgins can do, and Higgins can almost, he's not a tight end, certainly, he's not going to block, but like that, but he can run those types of routes, and he can be that safety valve and that guy to get you on 3rd and 7. He can run a 10-yard pattern and get you that first down.
And it seems to me, Freddie Kitchens, I'm not here to bash the guy, but it seems like he's trying to do a lot.
Yes.
He's trying to call the plays. He's the head coach. You probably got to look at still what the defense is doing. I just think there's a lot that he's trying to do that I'm not saying Monken needs to call the plays right now, but at the same time, man, is there any way to take a little bit off of his plate?
Because streamline it a little bit.
Yeah, do we know the whole story of the coach obviously knew the guy was active, but it's like, what's going on? I just think he's just trying to do a little too much.
Yeah. Who's been the biggest, Jeff wants to know, who's been the biggest disappointment on defense? Now, Jeff says, my choice would be Richardson. Can you really say he's making an impact? I would actually say, Jeff, to be honest, I'll stay on the defensive line. I think Olivier Vernon's been a disappointment.
Now, these 2 corners can't get on the field.
Yeah.
That's been disappointing.
They say, and somebody had asked us what's the deal with Greedy and Ward. Now, at least I know Ward has said he's good to go.
He's good to go, but the coach was saying he's still a ways away. So there you go. You got different people on the different page. I'm with you on Vernon. That's what I was going to say. This is a guy who was supposed to come in and be a serious difference maker, playmaker, game breaker. From what I see, and again, I'm not like an NFL expert or anything, but when I watch the tape, as we say,
exactly.
This is someone who gives up on plays as soon as he's out of a play. This is a guy who, if he is making a tackle, it's 10, 12 yards down the field, and I don't even think he's giving that effort on those. Very, very disappointed. I liked this move when the Browns made it, so I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah, I did too.
He's, to me, on the defensive side of the football. I was a little worried about the linebackers. Those guys have actually been okay.
Yeah, so I think Schobert's played well. Mac Wilson's done a fine job.
Very well. I'm concerned about Vernon, and I'm with you. We have full agreement. Biggest disappointment on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, considering you gave up a Pro Bowl offensive lineman for him.
Come on.
You're expecting Pro Bowl type results on the other side. You're not getting it.
And a couple Mondays ago, I was out in Berea for one of the availabilities, and I had my first chance to see Olivier Vernon. This is a big guy, physical, muscular, looks like a Greek god, And it's like, why isn't this guy out there making plays? I mean, he's got all the God-given ability. Go do it.
Yeah.
And so that's been frustrating. Yeah, to me, it's been a disappointment.
Yeah, you think it would lend itself to success. Okay, before we get out of here, plug for Chalk Talk. Tomorrow around noon or so, it'll be this week's episode with you and Ben Axelrod.
Yeah, on Wednesdays it hits. We look at college football, NFL, all through like the lens of sports gambling. But again, it's all for entertainment purposes only. We look at the lines. We look, we're going to talk about Ohio State. They play Friday night.
Yep.
I think they're a 28.5-point favorite against Northwestern. So, yeah, we give our picks against the spread. We look at odds. We look at lines. And it's fun. It's gotten some good feedback. And Ben does a nice job. I'm struggling, which is no surprise. Well, that's what happens when you take the Browns against the Seahawks like I did. But, yeah, it's fun. I appreciate that. WKYC.com, YouTube, all those places.
Plus on podcasts as well. Podcasts as well. On your favorite, iTunes or whatever.
That's right.
Whatever podcast you like listening to. My friend.
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
I know this is your show and Jimmy, but I want that. What's our feeling on the Cavaliers this year? What should be our expectations so we don't go in and then at the end of it we're disappointed? So if
they win 25 to 30 games this year,
that's
to me that's progress.
Okay,
that's
I would
progress.
agree with that. I don't think they're going to get there.
I don't know if they're going to get there.
But
honestly,
if they do,
I don't.
I think you're right. That's a heck of a first year under John Beilein.
Yeah, I just could because the clock is ticking on Kevin Love here. I just think.
I feel like we've said that for 5 years, but I agree with you.
Somebody is going to make the Cavs an offer and Kobe Altman an offer that would be of their liking and to give them more assets for the future. I mean, this is a team that's thinking about 3 years from now, not this year.
Yeah, this is a longer rebuild.
Yeah. So it's going to be a challenge. Yeah,
Hoops is starting soon.
Hoops is starting soon. Yeah. And by the way, Media Day, Cleveland State Vikings.
That's right, coming up.
Week.
My CSU Vikings. I knew we'd get a mention.
That's right. Gotta get a mention.
And best of luck to Dennis Gates.
We love Dennis Gates on this show.
He joined you guys.
He did.
Right?
He did.
And I think that's also going to be something that takes some time, just because of where they are right now. At the same time, I think you got a nice guy there for the job.
I think, considering when they had to hire, doing it in the late summer, I think they hit a home run. I really do. So
you'll see me down at the Wolstein Center this year.
Yeah.
We know that.
Well, I know I have to be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, we're out of here.
It was fun.
My friend, I appreciate it.
I don't know if you'll have me back, but it was fun.
I will have you back if you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Jimmy is getting a well-deserved breather here on the bye week,
Absolutely.
and he certainly deserves it. Okay, you'll see Nick tonight at 11 o'clock on What's Next. He'll have will we have Cavs preseason highlights on What's Next tonight?
We probably will. Just because it's their last game, and then next Wednesday they tip off the season. First game in Orlando. Really cool too. XFL. I know that's not maybe on people's radar. Saying that some local kids that are going to be being paid to play professional football getting picked up. So we'll tell you all about that.
Then to me, that's XFL and whatever else. That's the purpose.
Absolutely.
Give the kids who are trying to get back to the NFL or get to the NFL an opportunity to play pro ball.
A couple kids that Northeast Ohio high school football fans are very familiar with getting to play in the XFL. It's pretty cool.
All right, Nick's back with you tonight at 11 on What's Next. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 as Tyler Carey and I will announce our Week 8 high school football game.
Nice.
Make sure you're voting, by the way, at WKYC.com for that. You have until 3 o'clock tomorrow to cast your vote. It's either Maslin, Barberton, Bay Rocky River.
Ooh, a little rivalry there.
And both trying to get in the playoffs. And Holy Name trying to stay in the playoff race against Elyria Catholic.
Oh, all three good games.
Oh, yeah. We're excited. Yeah.
You're win-win-win.
I know.
No matter where you go.
Can't go wrong.
That'd be great.
I love it's like I sit there and go, I love my job. I can't go wrong. All right. For Nick Camino, I'm Dave DeNatale. Thanks for watching Donovan and Dino, presented by Master Pizza. And we are out.
So you just cut it?
Yeah. Well, I stopped the stream down there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.